Need some fast, cheap, reliable MUT coins? Go to MMOXP.com and use discount code MONEYSHOT for 5% off your order. Link in the description below. Welcome back, YouTubers and Madden fans. This is MONEYSHOT, sniffing out the Madden cheese as always. Got a video today on how to read a defense. Basically, in this video, I'm going to go over how to read every defense in Madden 20 pre-snap. So that way you know exactly what you're looking at no matter what game mode you play. And then I'm going to show you how to beat that. I'm going to show you some coverage beaters for each individual coverage that you see. So if you want to see more videos like this, do me a favor, hit the like button and let me know in the comment section. Other than that, let's go ahead and let's get right into this video. I'm going to start off with a coverage that a lot of people probably have trouble with. It's, you know, you got your pinch buckos, you have a lot of different coverages where people really just send the house on you. So that's what I'm going to show you right here. I got a man zero. I'm going to set it up exactly like people set it up online. And when I typically see this coverage, I mean, it's not really too hard to tell when they press like this. Certain formations will give away coverage easier than other formations. But on a man zero like this, one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm typically going to come out in an empty backfield look, and I'm going to zig these slot receivers. There's a lot of different coverages, there's a lot of different routes that beat man, but this is probably one of the faster ones to do that, especially when it comes to these slot receivers against these safeties. So if I want a little extra help, the tight end, he's not going to do much for me, so that's a scenario where I'll definitely block that. And then I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to drop back until I have time to throw this ball right here. So if you ever see somebody running something like a man zero, that's probably one of the best ways to beat it. Now, as far as reading the man zero, it's really simple. I mean, you can see how these safeties, it's typically man coverages will align over their assignment. So these safeties being spread wide like this, there's no defense in the game that's going to spread your safeties out like this. Any formation, a lot of times, I mean, motioning a lot of times can give it away too, but you can read this right away without looking. If you come out in a 3 wide receiver set, like I thought it was going to let me motion this guy over here, but it doesn't let me do that. If you have the opportunity to motion across a receiver across the formation, I mean, you can see how it follows, and still it's lined up right over in front of him. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to give it away, but one of the easiest ways is how the safeties basically align straight centered over over the receiver that they're assigned to. So now we're looking at cover one, which is probably one of the lesser run defenses, but there's still, you know, I'm going to go over coverage beaters for everything. I personally started running cover one a lot more lately. Once again, I mean, the zig routes will beat cover one the same way. As far as reading the cover one, it's all about the outside cornerbacks. Once again, you know, it's either cover one or cover three based off of the safety. The safety's position will always give away whether it's going to be either cover three or cover one based off of the single high safety. It could be a cover two invert, which I'll go over in a minute, but it's not going to be based off the cornerback depth. So looking at the cornerback's depth and alignment, you can tell they're, once again, the outside cornerbacks are aligned right over the receivers. If I switch over to a cover three, you're going to see a slightly different look. You see how now he's not aligned over him, he's aligned outside. So a very slight difference. But you can see, I mean, it's still a very, you know, it's the most telling thing that you can see to differentiate this between a cover three and a cover one. So now that I know it's a cover one based off of the look, on the offensive side, the wheel route's really one of the better ways to go. And this will beat cover zero the same, but it just takes longer. That's why, to me, the zigs will work against this coverage just like they'll work against cover one, cover zero, cover two. But as far as this play goes, you know, typically cover ones don't have a lot of blitzes behind them, so the wheel route's really going to be the best. Against cover two, the wheel routes will not work. But you can see right here, we just have, you know, that's I probably should have waited through a little bit later. Maybe I'd had a bigger play. Now, as far as reading a cover two, I mean, I don't know if you can see the difference like I can see the difference, but once again, you got your cornerbacks, they're aligned right in front of their receivers. Like I said, they don't want to, typically, just like in real life, man coverage, you don't want to give an inside release or an outside release. You don't want to give an advantage to the inside or the outside. Now, Richard Sherman on the other side is not necessarily man aligned directly with Kelsey, but you can see, I mean, they're just, the alignment alone, by the way that they're right in the receiver's faces, lets you know that's a man coverage. Then you look at the safeties, and they're not man aligned with anybody. So you can see they're playing back. It looks like an obvious cover two man to me. So that's something that you should be able to see. They're playing soft, and they're playing off, and they're playing into a their area where their cornerbacks over the receivers are playing very deliberately right in front of their receivers. Now, as far as cover two, there's not a ton of cover two beaters. There's some decent, there's a few one-play touchdowns that I have, but I'm not really going over that in this video. This is all about adjustments you can make to beat this defense. Zigs, once again, will be cover two. You won't have any issues as far as time to set up these zigs, but you have cover two gives you a lot more opportunities because you're not really going to get a ton of pass rush. So to me, another adjustment that you can make, and this is once again something that I work against just about any man coverage, is you can put your outside routes here on a comeback or a curl route, pretty much the same thing. But me personally, the comeback route is probably the best way to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put my outside guys on comeback routes, although I accidentally messed up the second one there. So like I said, right here we got our comeback routes on the outside, and if we really want to, like I said, we don't have to take away the zigs. The zigs will work just as well. So because there's two safeties deep, they're not going to give up a ton of big plays. The wheel routes will not work, but I always have the option for these comeback routes. I can always take them. I can take the zigs, and a lot of these will work against, like I said, multiple man defenses. So sure, you can always do, a lot of people just like to go ahead and try to hit slants. There's ways that good users can counter those slants and those drags, and they can user those because as you're going over the user's territory over the middle, I would much rather go into areas where the user is not. Cut down on the risk of throwing interceptions and still having a good play. As you can see right here, I mean, we're just, there's nothing the user can do with these outside adjustments. A good user always wants to funnel their defense towards the middle, and if you make adjustments like slants, you're just doing the defensive user's job. So now looking at a cover two zone, we have the exact same look on offense. But you can see, once again, I mean, the way that the cornerbacks are aligned. First of all, there's no cornerback over Watkins. Anytime you have a three wide receiver set, it will help to give away the defense. Since there's no cornerback directly over Watkins, or no defensive player at all directly over him, it's a zone coverage. Then you look at the safeties. They're basically splitting the middle half of the field. But since we see the cornerbacks on a cover two, typically we're playing at about a 5-yard depth. The depth of cornerbacks and safeties in a lot of those zones going forward will basically let you know what you're looking at. So you have your outside cornerbacks about 5 yards. That's pretty typical. Since they're both at a 5-yard depth, that's pretty typical of a cover two. If you're running like a cover 6 or a cover 9, a lot of times one cornerback will be at a 5-yard depth, the other cornerback will be at like a 7 or an 8-yard depth, sometimes even a 10-yard depth because they're playing the deep half. But for now, we know we're looking at a cover two. And then, like I said, the safeties are at even depth. Once again, that's typical of cover two, not typical of those off coverages. So let's go ahead and let's make our adjustments. As far as a cover two goes, since there's not really great coverage over the middle, a lot of times streaks are really good routes. You typically need something to pull the safeties back. Like I said right here, I mean, since I really have my option, typically over the middle deep, there's definitely a there's a gap. A lot of people might make the adjustment to take that away, or they'll put a deep third over with one of the middle linebackers. But sometimes if you have enough speed, it won't really matter. And then you can also hit these guys outside, like I said, if you just spread them out. So if I just streak everybody and spread them out, a lot of times in a formation like this, I can really beat pretty much all these coverages, because ultimately this outside route here, these cornerbacks don't drop back far enough. Moving on to cover three, we have a cover three match look. Now, as far as the cover three match goes, once again, this one here, if you're just paying attention to the depth of the safeties, it looks like you have what could possibly be a cover two. Now, like I said, the safeties, they're kind of off-centered a little bit, if you can see where they're aligned. They look like they're at even depth, but once the play starts, you're going to see one of the safeties is going to drop. One of them is going to fade. Now, the cornerbacks, once again, like I said, they're not at a 5-yard depth. They're at about a 7, 8-yard depth. That's more indicative of a cover three look. Now, the play that I chose is really to attack the seams once again, because, like I said, just like it's the exact same play as the cover two play, but you really can expose the seams of cover threes. Now, here I shift the play, and you can see right here we turn it right into a traditional cover three look. But like I said, it's cover threes. You can see the huge gaps between the single high safety and the cornerbacks is going to expose this defense quite a bit. So cover threes, you can beat them up the seams. So now we're looking at a cover four defense, which, like I said, I mean, you can see how tight the space is between the two middle safeties there. They're really close together. A lot of times that's a dead giveaway of a cover four. Based off of the alignment, they're basically at the hash marks from each other, which is not typical. And then once again, you move to the outside safeties. The outside safeties are playing at a depth of about 7-8 yards. That's a dead giveaway when it comes to playing off coverage. Whenever the cornerbacks are playing at about the depth that they're playing, like I said, about 8 to 10 yards, that's an off coverage look, which is either cover 3 or cover 4. So like I said, the real giveaway on this is the safeties. The cover 3 safeties don't play so close together. So we have a cover 4 look here, and then as far as adjustments go, as far as beating cover 4, there's a couple different things. I mean, the comeback route is a pretty good play. The out route is a pretty good play, which is not as good. I mean, this type of coverage beater is not as good as it is against cover 3 because of the adjustments they've made. But against cover 4, it's a pretty good play. So, like I said, spreading out my defense once again. Like I said, right here, we're just going to wait for that comeback route to come back. I threw it a little bit off timing, but you can see that the comeback route takes a little bit of time. A lot of people will run blitzes out of the cover 4, so it's not always, you're not always going to have the most time, but the out route is definitely more effective. So these off coverages, you can see how they give up underneath. That's the bottom line. These outside routes are going to beat these off coverages outside underneath. So that's it. I think I got all the coverages there. If you guys want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comment section or hit the like button, because this is something that I think can definitely help just about anybody that plays Madden, and it's in a way that's not going to have people accuse me of being cheesy and ruining the game like I do in some videos. so that's it. Like I said, if you like this, hit the like button or let me know in the comment section. And that's it. Other than that, thanks for watching MADDENMONEYSHOT out. Need more help or just want to show your support? Then head over to my Patreon and join my team, where you can get exclusive content like ebooks and bonus plays, as well as early access to my vids and more. Link in the description below.